Hi everybody, it's Dari at the Craft Salon. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this adorable Pom Pom Snow person. Let's do it. Here's what's in your box. 2 balls of yarn, or skeins as they are commonly called. A couple of pieces of fabric for the scarf. 2 pom-pom makers. Scissors, a glue pen, a yarn needle, assorted pipe cleaners, and mini pom-poms. I have made my earmuffs ahead of time for the purpose of this video. Without further ado, we are going to get started. You're going to take one of your skeins of yarn and you're going to take off the paper and you will find your end. You're going to take your pom-pom maker. You're going to open 2 of the legs, as I call them. I call these legs, and I call these feet. So you're going to open 2 of these on one side, and you're going to take your end of your yarn, and I like to hold it in place when I start wrapping. And I'm just gonna wrap the yarn right around the legs of the pom-pom maker. And you can see that I'm doing it evenly, neatly. It doesn't have to be tight, but it should be neat and it should be taut. Now I'm going to go back, and what I'm doing is covering the plastic legs so that you really can't see them anymore. And we're gonna wrap and wrap and wrap until that side is full. And you definitely need to wrap more yarn on here than you think you do, and I'm gonna show you what that looks like. So you can see I'm neatly wrapping it from right to left, then from left to right, and just trying to put each strand right next to each other to keep it looking neat. I want to avoid wrapping the yarn around this part. Now I can let go of that piece I started with. I don't need to hold it down anymore. And just keep wrapping, just neatly and evenly. A lot of kids always complain that it takes so long, and it actually doesn't really take that long. It's just, I don't know, I kind of meditate and do it slowly and relax. If you're left-handed, this is obviously gonna look a little bit differently. You're gonna wrap in whatever way is comfortable for you. Since I'm right-handed, I hold it in my left hand and wrap with my right. You probably do the opposite if you're a lefty, but you know, whatever's comfortable. And keep wrapping, keep wrapping. I know it seems like a lot, but if you put a lot of yarn on your pom-pom maker, then you will get a nice fluffy pom-pom. And what we want to do is make a really nice fluffy snow person. So that's why I like to put a lot of yarn on to make it super fluffy. We don't want a wimpy pom-pom because they're not as fun. So it's starting to get pretty full. And the one rule of thumb that I always use when I teach this is that your pom-pom should start to look like a chubby caterpillar. This is looking like a chubby caterpillar. It is puffy, it is fluffy, and what it should look like is you should see it sort of bubbling out of the top or the bottom. It should be bubbling over here like that. And that is a pretty good rule of thumb, that you have enough yarn on your pom-pom maker. So, and I always give it a few more wraps, but that's looking really good. So now I'm gonna close that side, okay? And then I'm going to just snip off the yarn, and I am going to do it again on the opposite side, exactly as I did it on this side. So now what you have is this, a fully wrapped pom-pom ready to be cut. So what you are going to be doing is taking your scissors and cutting all of the yarns right down the center line here and on the other side on the center line. So what I do is I start on the top, just cutting through the top layer of the yarns. If you try to dig your scissors under and cut them all at once, it is pretty difficult and it hurts your hand, and you don't need to do it that way. Just cut it evenly, gently, start with the top yarns. It makes it much easier. And what you want to do is just expose that center line of the pom-pom maker by cutting through all of the yarns all the way through till you get to the center, like so. It is important that you cut all of the strands. Sometimes they're hard to see and there'll be one stretching across, but it's really important that you make sure to cut all of them open like this. There's no strands across, and then I'm going to flip it over and cut the other side. Sometimes the little doors want to pop open. Do your best to hold it together while you're cutting, because if it does pop open, all of your yarns will fall out and then you won't be able to get them back in and you'll have to start over. So you can see I'm sort of holding it together with one hand and cutting with the other. It's a little tricky once you start, but once you get used to it, you'll be fine. So just snip all of the yarns that are stretched across the pom-pom maker, expose that center line, and in a minute we're going to tie our pom-pom and then give it a little haircut, and we will have our snow person's head. Okay, just keep snipping away till all of those yarns are cut. You'll definitely want to assist a child with this, especially if they're just starting. Okay, so all of the fibers are cut. We can see the center line of the pom-pom maker on both sides. And you're going to cut a piece of yarn that is approximately 12 inches long. You don't have to measure it. You don't have to get too nutty about how long it is, but just around 12 inches. And this is going to be the yarn that we tie our pom-pom with, and it's a really important step. So we're gonna do that right now. Okay, so you're gonna take that yarn that you just cut and you're gonna lay it on top of the center line of the pom-pom maker, like that. And you're going to pull it into the center of the pom-pom maker. And now you're going to have the other strings pulled on top. So basically what you're doing is just getting that yarn right down in the center of your pom-pom maker. Now I'm going to show you how to tie a special knot called a surgeon's knot. You're gonna put these together just like you're tying your shoes, and then you're gonna go under one more time, and that makes a surgeon's knot. You want to pull that tight, and you can see it disappear down into the center of the pom-pom maker. That's exactly what you're looking for. Then you're going to do a double knot right on top of that. And if you are unsure, or if you feel like it might not be tight enough, you should not be able to see it at all. You should only be able to see these yarns coming out. You should not be able to see your knot. But just to be sure, if you want to, you can flip these strands around to the top again and make another set of knots just to ensure that your center knot is really tight. And if you don't have a really tight center knot, then your pom-pom will fall apart and you can't put it back together. You just have to start again. So I recommend just making another set of knots, surgeon's knot, then a double knot. And now we are ready to release the pom-pom. Okay, so I forgot to mention before that you should definitely have a plate or a bowl or something underneath your work surface, because this does get a little messy. So to release the pom-pom, you're just simply going to gently raise the feet of the pom-pom maker on one side. Then you're going to raise the feet on this side. Sometimes they're hard to find. Just look for them and flip them up. And now you're going to take the two sides of the pom-pom, the white pieces, and you're going to sort of jimmy them apart. And look what you have. Oh my goodness. A very, very shaggy looking pom-pom. And that is okay. That's what it's supposed to look like. Ta-da! Now for some real fun. You can clip off those top yarns. You don't need them anymore. And you can just take your pom-pom in your hand, roll it around, fluff it out. When you do this, it also like opens the fibers up a bit. And you can see where your pom-pom looks a little bit more like a shaggy planet right now. So you're just gonna take your scissors and you're going to give it a nice haircut. Don't be afraid. You're looking for a nice rounded pom-pom, and this is how you get one. Just trim off those straggly bits, keep turning as you go, and you will have a nice round pom-pom for your snow person's head. What I like to do is just to keep turning it, fluffing it, and when you do that, you'll see the little stragglies that need to get cut off. The other thing is that I find this so relaxing and I can get pretty obsessive about trimming my pom-poms. You could just sit here all day and trim them, which sometimes I do, but it's not necessary. You can just give it a nice quick trim, make it the way you want it. You know, maybe you want your snow person's head to have a little straggles. But yeah, I just keep turning, keep fluffing, keep trimming until I have what I'm looking for, nice round pom-pom shape. And as you turn and fluff, it will, again, just like open up the fibers. It'll keep getting fluffier, keep getting cuter as you go. But this is how you make a pom-pom. And look, you just made your first pom-pom. Isn't it fun? I love this. I teach it all the time and the kids just go crazy. And also those pom-pom makers will last a long time if you take good care of them. And you can use all different colored yarns. You can even wrap two yarns together. You can do multicolored pom-poms. And you can get yarn. I like to get yarn at Michael's. They always have sales and coupons. We are on the East Coast in New York, and we don't have Joann Fabrics in Brooklyn, but sometimes I do stop whenever I see one. They have good yarns as well. I think Walmart has yarn, but you can order it online. You just want to make sure that you stick with, for this project, something that's not too chunky. And I'm using, you know, this yarn is, I guess, like a worsted weight yarn. If you are going to get a really chunky yarn, it won't work in the smaller pom-pom makers. It works well in the bigger one, but it doesn't work well in the small one, really. Anyway, so snip, snip. I think we're good. Here is our nice, beautiful, fluffy snow person's head. Oops, I have a couple of alfalfas there. Gotta trim those. Okay, Okay, we'll stop here. So the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna make a second pom-pom using the larger size pom-pom maker. You're gonna do the same exact thing. It's just gonna be bigger. I'll see you back here. I'm gonna show you how to do that knot again. Okay, so you're gonna have your piece of yarn that is about 12 inches long. You're going to, basically you're gonna kind of fold it in half. You're gonna take the center of that string and lay it on top of the center line of your pom-pom maker. You're gonna make sure that it's threaded through the center, and you're going to pull it down or up into the center of the pom-pom maker. Then you're going to make your surgeon's knot once over like you're tying your shoes, then over one more time, pull into the middle, tie a double knot. Now bring it around to the other side again, just to give yourself some insurance that you really are tying a very tight knot in the center. And we're gonna do it one more time, very tight. Double knot. This center knot of your pom-pom is literally the cornerstone of your entire pom-pom. So if that's not done well, your pom-pom will fall apart. Trust me on this. Okay, now that you have two fluffy round pom-poms, we are going to put them together and make our snow person. You are going to want to cut another piece of yarn that's about 12 inches. I always sort of use the 12-inch rule. And you're going to thread it onto your yarn needle. Usually I fold it over to make it just easier to get through that hole, but you really shouldn't have a problem. And double it over. And you're going to tie some knots at the bottom. I'm gonna do 3 knots so that they're nice and chunky, because we are gonna put this through the pom-pom and we don't want it to go through. We want this to act as a stopper. Okay, so you see I have a nice big chunky knot there. Did it 3 times, and I'm going to pick up the body, the larger of the 2 pom-poms, and I'm going to stick the needle through, and I'm gonna try and do it right in the center. If it doesn't go through right away, just find another spot to push it through and just pull that strand right through, and you will feel it stop. And you won't even see it at the bottom. And if you do, you can just snip it a little. Next, I'm gonna do the same thing with the head. I'm gonna just find a good spot to poke it through, pull it through the pom-pom, sit it right on top of the body, and now I'm gonna cut the needle off here so that I have 2 strands to tie another knot. I'm gonna knot it. I'm gonna do a double knot here, and I'm gonna pull it down. I'm not gonna like make it super, super tight, but tight enough that it's not gonna come apart. There we go. Now just trim those, and I think you can see what's happening here, right? So cute already. Okay, now for the extra fun part. We're gonna put this bad boy together using all of our cute accessories. As I said, I already put these earmuffs together before the video just so they would be dry. You have this glue pen, which has tacky glue in it. It's different from regular glue in that it is less watery, it's much thicker, it's more sticky, and it also dries clear, so don't worry if it gets a little messy. So you're just gonna glue a little smear of glue, and I'm gonna just plop it right on there, press it down, and I'm gonna do the same with the eyes. The earmuffs will definitely take a little bit longer, so maybe you wanna glue your earmuffs together before you start making your pom-poms, because by the time you're done making the rest of your snow person, your earmuffs will probably be ready. Okay. Another eye. And you have enough in your box to make at least 2 snow people, maybe more. You can also make some of your own accessories at home if you want to. If you have any felt or more pipe cleaners. He's got a scarf. Now I'm gonna put the arms on. I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue on the end there. Kind of just poke it right into the side here. It's sticking out a little. Scarf is getting in the way a little bit. I'm gonna move him over. Okay, get the other arm. You could even collect real twigs to put them on your snow person if you wanted to. That would be really cute. Oh yeah, here we go. Some people like to glue on the earmuffs, but I actually like to make them removable, because then if you wanted to make some other accoutrement for your snow person, you could just take it off and put something else on. And oh my gosh, like, really? How cute is this? I have made quite a few of them, and I have done them with my students, and everybody is loving them. And I hope that you are loving them. And I would love to see what your snow person came out like. So please tag me at the Craft Salon, and also please tag Brookfield Place at BFPLNY on social media, and I am at the Craft Salon on social media. Thank you so much. I really would love to see your creations. Bye.